What's up, my dudes? Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you guys had the most excellent day today. So as you guys may know, over in Florida recently there was a convention known as Megaplex. It is one of the larger furry conventions from what I understand. And from what I understand, it has been a doozy of a con with a lot of people really enjoying themselves. But I'm going to bring you some news from this con that has actually kind of upset me and pissed off a lot of people. And it's something that actually went down in the dealer's den. And it's really disturbing to know that this has happened because it's like, I figured the furry community would be above this kind of shit, but clearly not. So if you guys have ever been to a convention, especially a furry convention, you will know that one of the hearts of the con is the dealer's den, where all the vendors get together and sell you all the most excellent and latest furry merch and, fursuits, that kind of stuff. All the kind of usual trappings you see at a furry convention and fur meet. A Megaplex is no different. It had a dealer's den going down with some most excellent vendors went, and they actually put their wares up for sale to the general attendees of the convention. And for the most part, I understand it was a massive success. But judging by this one tweet from a person named Tarty Cat, I believe it is, they actually encountered an issue with some of the sales that they made, and the fact that they were paid for with counterfeit money. They were paid with fake money. And the person apparently, took the goods, went off, and then when Tarty Cat went to pay the money into the bank, I understand, it was actually flagged up as counterfeit. So obviously they can't pay it into their bank account, the money's confiscated or whatever. And they're out of pocket because of this. And they went on to Twitter to rant about, this frustration, which is understandable. I mean, you've just found out that the money someone has paid you for your goods is fake. They've effectively stolen those goods from you. And we don't actually know how much counterfeit money was taken by Tarty Cat, but judging by the fact that they've made this post frustration and they're saying a considerable amount, I'm reckoning at least $100-200 of counterfeit cash was given to them during the con. And at this time we don't know who gave them the cash, whether they intentionally gave them counterfeit money or if they had received counterfeit money themselves and just didn't realise it. But nonetheless, Tarty Cat is out of pocket because of this. And I think that's horrific. If someone has done this intentionally, that is the lowest low. Because it's not like they're doing this like Walmart or, Tesco or whatever, where it's a multinational corporation making billions of pounds every year, and they're not going to notice a couple of £100 here or there. No. This was done to like a small vendor whose livelihood could depend on the money that they make at conventions. This is just someone putting in hard graft to make a living for themselves. It's not some massive company, and to rip them off like this, it just hits on an entirely different level. And the community did come together to help Tarty Cat. There's lots of helpful comments on there. There were even people offering money to cover the money lost, which props to you guys, dudes. That's that's proper like community spirit. But of course there were the occasional dickheads, specifically this dickhead, and I'm not going to bother censoring their name just so you know who it was, who's going on about how they thought they were the only ones who did this, and even poor people deserve luxury or some shit like that. And it's like, bruh, what the hell? So people called him out on this, and then instead of realising the mistake or apologising or whatever, this dickhead goes and doubles down and is like acting like, it's perfectly acceptable to steal stuff from vendors at FurCon. And I legit don't know if this person's being serious or if it's just troll bait or whatever, and kind of suspecting it might be the latter. The way they were talking in the comments and stuff, and all that kind of bullshit, it kind of comes across as they are just trolling and they've not actually done this, but I don't know for sure. They could be this gnarly in real life. And just to make the situation worse, they then try and go blaming mental health and dissociative identity disorder as the reason they made this, these comments, and oh, I'm part of a system. I'm no expert, but it kind of comes across as, a little bit fake what they're saying. But again, I'm not an expert. I can't really call them out on that kind of bullshit. But plenty of people were calling him out on that, so, I don't know. But anyway, enough about this dickhead. He's had enough airtime on my channel. We're going to go and have a look at what you guys can actually do to avoid this situation happening to you if you're vending at a FurCon. And what a convention itself can do to prevent this kind of shit from happening. So first up, let's have a look at the methods for identifying fake money. Now, obviously with British money, it's all this weird new plastic crap, and it's very hard to forge. From what I understand, it's actually more expensive to forge British money than to just go get British money. It's all made out of plastic and it's got clear see-through panels and stuff. It's, really awkward to forge from what I understand, although it does happen obviously. But this incident, it happened over in the States, and over there they're still using the old-fashioned fabric or paper money or whatever the hell it's made out of. So obviously we're going to need to learn to identify when that is actually a fake, other than just like feeling it in the texture and stuff. Now a lot of people are suggesting to get those markers that identify whether it is a fake note or not. But as I've seen people point out, that only actually identifies whether it's on the genuine type of material or not. And a lot of forgers over in the States, they tend to get lower denominations like $1 bills, wash them out, and then reprint them as like $100 bills. And that will still come up as showing a positive for like, it's the genuine article because it's on the right type of paper. It's just got the wrong print on it. So while I can understand a lot of people suggesting these pens for identifying fakes, it seems they're not that great for more sophisticated fakers. Obviously, if you just, print it out in your home printer and stuff, it's going to identify that in a heartbeat. But when these people are like washing out small notes and printing them as hundreds, it's still going to show up as being genuine in these cases. Now, I noticed a lot of people in the comments section who worked in retail and that kind of stuff, they say you can identify whether the note's genuine or not by looking at the collar of the president on there and having a feel of it. And if it's like rough and ridged and ribby, it's genuine. But if it's flat and just feels printed, it's not. So that is a method to identify whether the notes are real or not. And obviously you can get these funky little machines where it's got a UV light or whatever, and you stick it under there and a bar appears and you can examine it, check, make sure it's in the right place, the right color. Some of these machines actually have identifiers along the bottom that says a 50 should have a bar here and this is what it should look like. A 20 will have a different bar at this location. But obviously getting one of these machines does involve an investment, and obviously not everyone can go into that. So another method I've seen people is holding it up to the light and seeing if the old print can shine through. In situations where they have washed out a $1 note and reprinted as 100, if you hold it up to the light, apparently you'll be able to see the details of the $1 bill shining through. So that's another method you can use to find it. And I'll try to put some links in the description below to some resources which you guys can use to find fake notes if you're handed them. But that doesn't answer the question of what do you do in a situation where you are handed a fake note. And I think this is where the convention itself can come into play, where they can do things to help you. And kicking off with that theme is something that was actually implemented in Confuzzled in the past few years, and something that me and Conifer made use of while we were dealing at the con. And that is a hotline or app which you can go on to call for security to come to your table. Now obviously, if you've been handed what is clearly a counterfeit note, like someone's handed you a fake $100 bill to pay for something, you could theoretically confront them about it yourself, but that could be a rather gnarly situation that you might not be prepared for, or it could turn rather ugly and you might not want that. So what you should do in any situation where you're handed a fake money is actually to call a convention over to deal with it for you. They will have people in this dealer's den who are there to resolve issues, and being handed fake money is an issue. And if you have a phone number or an app that you can call the con staff over, you can hand this fake money off to them and they can deal with it. Now I know a lot of you might be thinking, just give the money back to the customer and send them on their way. Don't do that, my dudes, because if you do that, they might just walk to another unsuspecting stall who might not have the wherewithal you've got to check the money, and just give them the fake money instead. Whereas if you hand it off to con staff, not only is that money taken out of circulation and not going to be used at the con anymore, but it's now staff's problem. They've got security to deal with it if it kicks off. The con staff are there to help you deal, and this is one of the situations that they're prepared for. They're prepared to deal with people trying to bring fake money into the con. It's not your responsibility from that point on. The customer can't get gnarly at you because you're not the one holding on to their money that they want back all of a sudden. It's the con staff. Just say, hey look, I've been handed this fake counterfeit money. I need you to deal with this, okay? Don't let the customer take anything they haven't paid for. Let the con staff deal with the fake money. Now obviously you may be at a con that doesn't have this kind of setup in place where you can just call over con staff to help. And you may be finding a customer getting a bit gnarly in your face, being like, just take my money, I want my product or whatever. And that's, a grim situation to be in. So what can you do in this situation? Well, if you think about it, you are at a dealer's den table. There will be someone to your left, there will be someone to your right who are also dealers. What you can do is turn to the person on your left and say, "This dude just gave me fake money." And then turn to the dude on your right and say, "This dude just gave me fake money." And they will get the word out. Not only will they get the word out, this dude is giving you fake money, but now you got backup if this dude gets a bit gnarly. So then you just make a note of their badge number and give that to the con. Let the con deal with it again. And obviously, it may just be a case that this dude didn't know they had fake money. I mean, a lot of people will at some point have fake money and not even realise it. So they might be a complete innocent bystander in this. But if they're one of these dudes who are intentionally using fake money at a con, and you start doing this, you bring this to the convention's attention, they're going to be in a lot of shit. And like I said, if you've taken a note of their con badge number, and they leg it, well, you just hand that to security and be like, this dude clearly guilty, he gave me fake money, and then when I alerted people to it, he ran. But don't just give the money back to them, my dudes, because they will use it somewhere else. And definitely, absolutely, do not let them leave with any of your product that they have not paid for. At the end of the day, this is your livelihood we're talking about. You're there to make money, to live. You're not some multinational corporation, you're a small artist or a fursuit maker, and this is your way of living. To have someone rip you off trying to make that is just, that's the lowest of low. And I cannot believe there's actually furries out there who would intentionally do this, knowing, with everything, cost of living going up and everything at the moment, knowing all that and still trying to do it. Nah, dog, that's grim, my dudes. So yeah, that's what's happened over at Megaplex this year, and this is my opinion on how to deal with it. If any of you guys have got any most excellent suggestions on how to deal with people trying to bring counterfeit money to you at the dealer's den, drop them in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Consider joining my Patreon, where you can join these fine people in supporting me make most excellent videos. And as a reward, you get a shout out in most of my vids, and you get early access to a lot of my videos and to my artwork. Swing by my Discord and come chill with me in the Discord, dudes. I'm not on there very often, but when I am, I usually hang and chill with the dudes, say hi, all that kind of good stuff. Share memes. I share a lot of memes on there when I'm online. But other than that, you all have a most excellent day, an amazing weekend, and party on, dudes!